Welcome to the Oliver Lynn channel. This is a pro-Donald Trump ebook in its entirety, encompassing 4 videos. Part 1 and 2 are simple things everyone should know about Mr. Trump and a look at the major issues he faces. The 3rd and 4th video will be a lot of information Mr. Trump doesn't even know about himself. There will be no pictures in the first 3 parts. In Part 4, there will be a few. I hope at least one person can benefit from this book. And now, Trump, the Magnificence of America. Nobody's a picture perfect. Introduction. Mr. Donald Trump has shown and inspired many a person in this country and world that we are the majority, even though we are silent and feel alone. We are not alone and need not be silent anymore. When we see how the mainstream media and establishment want him silenced at any cost, we can identify with him, because we, the average American, know it is we that the establishment wants silenced. The seething hatred directed towards this one man is a seething hatred the American people have received from its government at least since the time following the John F. Kennedy assassination. Ever since then, this country and its people have been piece by piece continually changed, destroyed, and done away with, and replaced with a foreign and perverse direction that we no longer wish to travel. It's not just the establishment political parties or the mainstream media that has kept us in the dark and at odds with each other, both in the United States and worldwide. It is establishment or mainstream religion and education as well. This book and the one that will follow will delve into topics and research that many people will find come out of left field. Why? Because just like the issues that Donald Trump raises and speaks about, there is an abundance of vital topics that the mainstream or establishment institutions will not touch and will go to any extent to lie about. Just like the vicious lies and attacks promulgated against Mr. Trump, everything in this book and the one to follow can be easily fact-checked. Through both books, we will transverse ancient texts and history to quantum physics and condensed matter physics. We will look at pop culture through the years to the paranormal. It's been over 25 years of research. The last 10 alone has been 25 to 50 hours a week studying all relevant and interlocking fields of study to answer the questions that most of us have had since opening our eyes in this dimension. There will be fun experiments to do along the way, things I've done for years to keep from getting too bored with the everyday grind. Hopefully by the end of this book you will learn more about Donald Trump and, most importantly, learn things about yourself and how all of us interact on a quantum level and have been doing so since we were born. In this book, we will focus on the positive side of one man, Donald Trump. Why is it that very few talk about that side? We will see how he is so correct on immigration. Mr. Trump is a great example to examine frequency bias, as I call it, something each of us have programmed into us when we were born. We'll see how many are attacking him because of their bias against him at the quantum level. We will also break down his program to reveal his likes, dislikes, strengths, and weaknesses. We will look at this election in a way I doubt anyone else will. You will see how special Mr. Trump really is. In the next book I write, and possibly the last, because I'm a researcher and not a writer, I will focus on you no matter what ethnicity you are, what ideologies you believe, what country you live in, how rich or poor you are. You will never look at anyone the same way again. And when you look in the mirror, you will understand, probably for the first time, who or what is looking back at you. But this book sets a simple foundation into our reality. Albert Einstein said, "This reality is an illusion, albeit a very persistent one." We will start with a simple look at things of the visible world and then start to explore this illusion using Mr. Trump, the 2016 election, and watch history as it repeats itself. Whether it's Back to the Future or Ahead to the Past, no matter how many times I watch events play out, it's just amazing. Ever wonder why the Republican convention was held in Cleveland? While researching the last chapter of this book, I had the hair on my arms start standing up 3 times. I study this stuff all the time, but this was a classic for sure. Chapter 1, Trump Consistency. In this interview from the 1980s, Mr. Trump discusses trade. Some of the countries have changed, but the message remains the same for almost 30 years. These are his exact quotes on the matter in the book that's on Amazon, which I wouldn't pay $4.59 for. Someone put it up for me, and I just wanted it up for 99 cents. But the entirety of the book is here, but the links are in the book for all the videos where these quotes were taken from. This is Mr. Trump speaking, quote, "I like talking the big picture because the big picture is what can solve the overall problem. When you put a tax on Japan for the products they are selling, you will bring in hundreds of billions of dollars to this country, which can go to building our inner cities. Instead of giving Japan free military defense, you charge them for what they are getting. You bring in hundreds of billions of dollars, which can go towards the inner city and education. The United States is being systematically ripped off by many of the wealthiest countries of the world. You look at Saudi Arabia. Their poor people live better than our rich people. We give them their freedom and they give us nothing. I want a piece of that. I want the money. So we can put the money into Harlem. So we can give the money back to education. That's the big picture. That's the real picture. The world should be based on common sense. Everything is compromised today. The world is laughing at us. They think the United States is made up of a bunch of fools. I want to tax Japan. I don't want to tax you. I want to tax West Germany. I want to tax Saudi Arabia. If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't even be here. They wouldn't exist. Saudi Arabia wouldn't be here for 20 minutes if we ever said, you're on your own, baby. I'm not looking to tax you. It's so simple. You'll tax Japan, you'll tax West Germany, you'll tax their products. People will still buy their products, and it will bring in hundreds of billions of dollars into our coffers." End of quote. Mr. Trump is consistently polling higher with women voters, even though the media portrays him as someone who mistreats and puts down all women. I've seen interviews where he says women are smarter than men. He cherishes women. He admires them. If you go on YouTube, you'll find women from all walks of life and all ethnic groups who support Donald Trump. The NBC poll entitled Donald Trump's GOP Field with Women Voters, it's not even close. Mr. Trump has 29% of women voters, Cruz 13%, and Rubio 14% as of February. As hard as the media tries to turn women away from Donald Trump, they continue to see through the lies and offer him increasing support. In an article titled After the Gold Rush from the Vanity Fair archive, dated August 31st, 1990, it accounts how the Trumps had bought Mar-a-Lago only a few months earlier, but already they had become Palm Beach curiosities. Across the road from the Bath and Tennis Club, the B&T as the locals call it, it was said that the Trumps had yet to be invited to join. Utter bullshit. They kissed my ass in Palm Beach, Trump told Vanity Fair. Those phonies. That club called me and asked me if they could have my consent to use part of my beach to expand the space of their cabanas. I said, of course. Do you think I wanted to be a member? They would have turned me down. I wouldn't join that club because they don't take blacks and Jews. Chapter 2. Trump Compassion and Service. In January 2016, following Mr. Trump raising millions of dollars for veterans at a rally, while skipping a Fox debate, his critics still attacked him, saying that before this fundraiser, he didn't do anything to help veterans. The following quote is from Mr. Trump doing an interview years back, which can also be found on YouTube. And here he is speaking, quote, "You know, nobody talks about the soldiers that are coming back with no arms and no legs. And I saw at Mar-a-Lago on Mondays. I make Mar-a-Lago my club that you know about. I make that twice now on a Monday. I let returning Iraqi injured soldiers come to the premises. The most beautiful people I've ever seen. But they're missing arms and legs. They're with their wives, sometimes their girlfriends, and the tears are coming down the faces of these people." End quote. In referring to his book, Art of the Deal, Mr. Trump says the following, quote, "Well, I don't know what I'm worth. I know that from the standpoint of the book, I've done a book. The money all goes to charity that we're making from the book. The book has become a tremendous success, which I'm happy to say." End of quote. It was reported in the Jewish Telegraphic Agency archives that on July 19th, 1988, the private Boeing 727 of Donald Trump arrived at LaGuardia Airport in New York from Los Angeles, carrying aboard it a 3-year-old Jewish child, his parents, and 3 nurses that attended to the child around the clock. The commercial airlines could not fly the child because of the elaborate life support system he needed. The parents, Judy and Harold Ten, left with no other options, took a long shot and contacted Donald Trump and explained their plight. Mr. Trump did not hesitate when we called him up, said Harold Ten, the 29-year-old father. Trump said, "I'll send my plane out." When asked why he thought Trump sent his private plane out, Mr. Ten replied, "Because he is a good man. He has 3 children of his own and knows what being a parent is all about." Mr. Ten said he believes the Talmudic saying that he who saves one person's life is as if he saved the whole world. Among the relatives at the airport to greet the child and his parents were the paternal grandparents of the sick boy. The boy's grandmother, Feige Ten, said, "Donald Trump is a miracle, just a miracle." Western journalism, which also carried the story, estimated the cost to fly that child and his parents and nurses to LaGuardia from Los Angeles cost Donald Trump $90,000. The list of charities and foundations that have been supported by Donald Trump are the following: Arnold Palmer Foundation, Celebrity Fight Night Foundation, Children with AIDS, David Foster Foundation, DoSomething.org, Friends of Scotland, Jimmy Fund, Los Angeles Police Memorial Foundation, Make a Child Smile Appeal, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Mississippi Animal Rescue League, Muhammad Ali Parkinson Center, Neurofibromatosis Incorporated, Operation Smile, Paralyzed Veterans of America, Pediatric Epilepsy Project, Raising Malawi, Reef Relief, Smile Train, St. Francis Food Pantries and Shelters, the Doe Fund, UNICEF, Wounded Warrior Project. In scanning over these charities that Mr. Trump has supported, these are charities that help all people regardless of age, ethnicity, or religion. The Muhammad Ali Parkinson Center is one of those charities. Muhammad Ali converted to Sunni Islam in 1975, so if Donald Trump is an Islamophobe like the lying media wants to project him to be, if that was true, Mr. Trump wouldn't have supported the Muhammad Ali Parkinson Center. But since the center does good work, Mr. Trump supports it. The charity Raising Malawi was created to help one of the poorest nations in the world, located in the heart of Africa. Malawi has a population of 16 million. Of that population, 1.4 million are orphans. The religious breakdown of this country is 70% Christian, 20% Muslim, and 10% other. It is said the white people in this country are either aid workers or volunteers, and not many others. That being said, easily 15 million plus are non-white. So would someone whom is prejudiced against another because of skin color or religion support these 2 charities? No, they wouldn't. The media, establishment, and various individuals are lying about Mr. Trump. His actions, because of his charities he supports, shows his compassion and heart for all. In terms of sacrifice to try and make America great again, here is some of what Mr. Trump has lost for each one of us. This is a list of companies that has broken ties with Mr. Trump and is growing. Macy's, Univision, Televisa, Farouk Systems, NBC Universal, NASCAR, CERTA, ESPN, PGA, PVH, Perfumia, FAA. This is just an example of the tens or hundreds of millions of dollars Mr. Trump is losing as he embarks on his presidential run. Through these first 2 chapters, we see a person, Mr. Trump, that is totally different than what the media portrays him to be. The media, establishment, and many others know how the average person's mind works and how it can be programmed. The more and longer a lie is told, the more it becomes the truth. Many are telling lies of Mr. Trump, hoping to change how others view him. What I hope you see is how Donald's actions trump the lies that are being told of him. Chapter 3, Rigged Elections. Donald Trump recently made a statement as to why is he the most attacked candidate in presidential history. I certainly can't remember another one. We will look at one reason starting in a few chapters. The other reason that is so obvious, and what I tell everyone, because if you recall all elections in our lifetime, the reason the establishment never had to attack a candidate like this is because all candidates since John F. Kennedy have been establishment puppets. That includes all Democratic and Republican candidates. That's why I'm 50 years old and voting for the first time. I was going to register and vote for Ron Paul, but his campaign was sabotaged easily before it really got going. The Republican Party has finally pulled back the veil and revealed how elections are rigged in this country. It has always been Democrat puppet A and Republican puppet B. This year it is not. I was going to go into a long, drawn-out chapter on all presidents since John Fitzgerald Kennedy and show you how they all had the basic global agenda of supporting terrorist groups and using them in proxy wars where thousands to hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of innocent people have been killed. Several administrations at the highest levels have been involved in the drug trade, and each of them have done their part to destroy this country in varying ways after each election. I think most people voting for Donald Trump know the evil that this country's presidents have committed against its people and of people like us worldwide that just want to be left alone to live our lives. None of us volunteered to come to Earth, and none of us should have to put up with constant injustices by governments we elect to supposedly be to our benefit. I will give you an excellent resource to check out and read. The writing is entitled America's Third World War, How 6 Million People Were Killed in CIA Secret Wars Against Third World Countries. Its author is John Stockwell, a former station chief and the highest-level CIA whistleblower to come out. He spent 13 years in the CIA in the 1970s and 80s. He testified before Congress and has a lengthy and horribly violent account of CIA atrocities. While reading this, you can understand why Donald Trump says the whole world hates us. Also, as you read this, you will understand that this is what's been going on in the Middle East since 2001, even well before 2001, and especially the Arab Spring of a few years ago and leading up to today. Why doesn't the media cover these things? Because, like Donald Trump says, they don't tell the truth. The establishment media covers for the establishment government and vice versa. The Republican Party obviously wants another puppet to continue the establishment's atrocities worldwide and continued destruction of this country. Mr. Trump is not their man.